What's going on, everybody? And welcome to J Sports Seattle. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the Seahawks. Excuse me. I'm going to be since I haven't made a video for like previewing the or reviewing the Bucks game, I'm going to talk about that Bucks game first before I review the Jacksonville game. Like I said in my last video, if you're coming from the Mariners video, been very busy. Haven't been able to make a video or videos in general. Work's been on my tail, and I've also been, with my girlfriend and other stuff, just to, balancing the work-life situation. So, post-college, still getting used to that. But, moving past that, here I am. I'm going to talk about the Seahawks, like the past couple games, kind of where we are right now, and where we're heading. So yeah, if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. All right, so so week five, it's a weird loss because it's one of those things where it's a heavily encouraging loss, but also a heavily discouraging loss in the moment. For me, it was more encouraging than discouraging. But in the moment, you're thinking, oh man, we just allowed 38 points to Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers without two of their best players. Okay, sure, but let's be honest. Baker Mayfield is playing like an MVP right now, and then on the other side of the field that game, who was also playing like an MVP that game, Sam Darnold, man, like this dude is also a legit MVP candidate, the way he's playing throughout these first 6 weeks. So the reason why it's more encouraging than discouraging was we were shown what this offense can be when Sam Darnold is on one and when Clint Kubiak is on one. We can put up 30 plus points a game, and we saw that. Obviously, granted, a lot of that was other reasons than offense in the Saints game, but we saw it in the Saints game. We put up 44 points. So 35 points against a Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense that's pretty good. It has Vita Vea and other people on there that they have a really good team defense led by Todd Bowles. They have we put up 35 points, but unfortunately that day our defense was just worse than theirs that day. And that's the reason why I consider it a more encouraging than discouraging game, is because the defense just had a bad day. And I knew it was just because we had a bad day, because we look what we did against Jacksonville on Sunday for week 6. So, but this offense is showing what we wanted it to be under Geno the past couple of years. And albeit this run game is still pitiful, for some reason it seems to be worse than it was last year. But this passing game is still elite because we replaced Geno with a better quarterback. So, that's part of the reason why we're 4-2 right now. But, 86 yards, rushing yards from Walker that game wasn't, he didn't have a bad game. It's just, I think overall we had 100 rushing yards that game. We had 122 rushing yards that game. So we did have more than 100 rushing yards that game, but not in the Jacksonville game, albeit they have a really good defense. But I gotta talk about Charbonnet, man. This dude has not really been impressing me these past couple of weeks, and quite frankly, I don't think he's been impressing Mike as well. Against the Jacksonville, albeit K9 was not any better, but to be fair, like I said, the Jags do have a good defense. They have I think they have a top 10 defense in the league. That's just pitiful. 12 carries for 24 yards is just unacceptable. And Charbonnet knows that. Mike knows that. This is not okay. Like I said, they have a good defense, though. And our defense did well against the run. Our defense did well against the run in back-to-back weeks. Like, we are one of the best run defenses in the league. I think top 5 by the numbers. Because look at that. 56 yards. 59 yards. That's back-to-back weeks of allowing less than 60 yards on the ground. That's just masterful by this. Not only this, just D-line. This D-line has been insane the past couple weeks. Albeit we couldn't get pressure on Baker Mayfield. But to be fair, they have a really good passing they have really good pass protection in Tampa, especially since Wirfs was back. He was setting that left tackle, that left edge. Like they have a really good pass protection group. So, but moving on to Jacksonville, like this game was a bounce back game. This is a classic Mike Macdonald bounce back game. We lost a game at home. We've continuously struggled at home. We were 1-2 at home this year. But we're still immaculate on the road. We were undefeated on the road so far this year, and that is not something to take lightly, because now that means we're 9-1 under Mike on the road, which is entering some unbreakable records territory. But we got to figure it out at home. That is the one kryptonite that we have, is losing at home. Both of our losses have come at home, and both of the losses we could have easily won if one or two things went a different way. Gotta win at home. So, but I'll preview that game. I'll have more free time. I should have more free time on Thursday or Friday, so I'll preview that game later. But talking about this Jacksonville game, Sam Darnold, man, this dude, like I said, is legitimately playing like an MVP candidate. Nearly 300 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Only had the 1 sack that wasn't really his fault, in my opinion. 71.7 QBR, 127 to 121.7 passer rating. Like, man, this dude is playing. This dude is playing elite football right now, and he's playing at a Pro Bowl. Albeit he's playing at an All-Pro level. Like, we gave this guy. He has a great pass protection group, and he has good weapons. He's got weapons that he's continuously relying more and more on. And that one weapon right here, man, this guy right here, Jackson Smith-Njigba, man, this dude is legitimately playing like an Offensive Player of the Year candidate. Like he has now elevated his game from Pro Bowl status to All-Pro Offensive Player of the Year status. I'm talking all-time legendary status. Like, maybe not yet, but he is entering. He's entering those talks, Offensive Player of the Year talks. That is what he's entering right now, because he is playing like an All-Pro. He leads the league in receiving yards. He leads the league in I believe yards per attempt. I mean, he's averaging 20 yards a freaking game, it seems like, per attempt. So this dude is playing out of his mind right now, and he was not lying when he said in his presser earlier in the offseason that we're gonna see him take his game to a whole nother level. He has ascended. This dude has completely ascended to a whole nother level so far. And I knew, like, from the gun, I knew this guy was gonna be insane. I mean, come on, man. This dude dropped 347 yards in the Rose Bowl. And I don't know how 19 other teams passed on this guy, just because of a simple hamstring injury. He's put on weight. He's clearly an elite route runner. He's gained speed. He just knows how to beat defenses. He knows how to beat DBs. This dude has entered unguardable territory. He is now entering. I feel like, we have to give it a couple more weeks, but he's entering that Justin Jefferson tier. He's entering that Jamar Chase tier. Week by week, we're seeing it. So this dude has been absolutely lights out this year, and like he I don't know, man. Like this dude is like Schneider, man. I think you need to pay him right now. Like, legitimately, this dude needs to be paid right now. I said early in the offseason that if JSN is like just balling out in the first 10 weeks of the season, you have to pay him. And right now, he is balling out. He is going nuclear. So we need to pay this guy. He has well earned his right to be on this team for the rest of his career, and we need to give him all the money he wants. Maybe a fair amount. But this dude has proven that he's going to be the best receiver in the league at some point, if he already is not entering that conversation. So we need to give him money. I understand he's on. We can, technically we can have him for 2 more years because his final year is next year, and we could have him extend him on a 5th-year option. But no, man, this dude has proven why you picked him in the first round. You need to pay him the bag. You need to give it to him. So, you got to do it while it's still, while we can get him at an affordable price. Because let's say he drops freaking 1,700 yards this year, and then he's like, all right, bro, you should have paid me during the season. And then he's gonna hold out. We don't want to go through that. We don't want to have to go through what the Niners are going through, or like no, just no. So you need to pay him, John Schneider. This is one time where I understand, you don't want to shell out contracts because you have flashbacks to Jamal Adams, but this is not Jamal Adams. This dude is different. All right, so you need to pay him. Another person who has just been I knew was going to take a step up, AJ Barner. This dude is playing like a Pro Bowl tight end because not only is he great in the blocking scheme, he's also an amazing pass catching tight end so far, and has come up in so many clutch moments. He has more career touchdowns than Brock Bowers, who was picked in the first round, I believe. So, and he's a 4th round tight end. This is the reason why you should choose tight ends that can block and hope that they develop into pass-catching tight ends rather than the other way around. Because tight ends are really mainly used in blocking situations in the run game and sometimes in the passing game. But if you can get him involved in the offense, that just opens up a whole nother can of worms in a good way for the team. So, and then the Cooper Kupp, man, he had his first TD as a Seahawk. He had a couple of nice catches. He's really settled in this wide receiver 2 role, and he's doing well. Charbonnet did have that one catch though for 13 yards, so I will give him that. But I mean, we played a perfect game offensively yesterday. Like in terms of we didn't turn the ball over. We could have scored more points, but we didn't turn the ball over, and we got enough to win the game. We've scored 20 or more points, and I believe in 4 of the 6 games we played this year, which is good to see. Week 1 we scored 13 points, and then what was the other one? The other loss. Why am I spacing? Oh no. Week 1 we scored 13 points. Week 2 we scored 44. Why am I like thinking about this? Week 3. Who in the world did we face week 3? I already forgot. But point is like this team's offense is a little bit better than what it's been the past couple of the past year, So like we got to keep it up on offense, and obviously this run game. I just hope somehow, some way, this run game finds its groove. But I don't know, man. Maybe this team's just built for the pass and the run. Maybe we just aren't built to run the ball. I guess this is what the way this O-line is. Albeit it is a young O-line, but we have a much more experienced offensive lineman coach. So I don't understand why we still can't run the ball. Maybe it's our running backs. Maybe we just need to get better running backs, more running backs that better fit what Mike wants. Even though Charbonnet is kind of a running back that fits what Mike wants, a more downhill running back, we just don't have the personnel to do it because Anthony Bradford, he's not a good right guard. Jalen Sundell, he's not really a good center in my opinion. Obviously, Zabel and Cross have been great on the left side. That's the reason why sometimes we've been relying on the left side more than the right in terms of the running game. But like Abe Lucas, he's been mediocre in my opinion. He's had a few good games, but he hasn't been all that this year. And like I said, Anthony Bradford, he just sucks. So we still got some work to do on this offensive line. Obviously, this might be a multi-year. I guess this is a multi-year project under John Schneider, or we could trade for somebody. Because obviously Christian Haynes, I don't think Christian Haynes is going to do any better in place of Anthony Bradford whenever he's back from the IR, if he's not already back. So we either need to trade for somebody or we got to draft somebody in the first round next year at right guard as well. Because Anthony Bradford is not it. He's not our future right guard, and I don't think he ever was going to be. So, which is disappointing because he is a 4th round pick. But overall, I mean, this team is playing great. Looking at DVOA, this team, we are number 1 in the league, and looking at previous 4-2 teams going back since 1978, we have the second best DVOA percentage of any of these teams going back since 1978. And all these teams you've seen here since 2005 have made the Super Bowl, or not made the Super Bowl, have made the playoffs. So it looks like we're looking like a playoff team this year potentially. I don't know if we're going to be winning the division, but it looks like we could be winning a playoff game. or not winning a playoff game, but making the playoffs. So this is really good to see because I think we also have the best score differential in the division of any team. The Niners are in first place and they have a negative score differential. So I don't believe they're going to be in first place much longer, especially since they lost not only Nick Bosa, they lost Fred Warner for the season. So they're done for this. I feel like they might be done for the season unless Shanahan just pulls out some absolute master classes of coaching clinics, which he has so far. Maybe he can continue that, but losing Nick Bosa, well, still makes you a contender, but losing Fred Warner, who's the quarterback of your defense and who has arguably been playing like a defensive player of the year this year, not looking good. So it's the Rams' offense has not been looking good so far this year. They struggled against a Ravens defense that's been pretty injured, 17 points, and then the Cardinals are the Cardinals. So we are in a really, really good spot right now throughout 6 weeks, the first 6 weeks. We got to keep our foot on the gas. The thing that can separate us from these past few years is if we continue to win. Just keep stacking wins, like Mike says. We have a really good shot. We're in a really good position to separate ourselves from the rest of this division. And not only just the division, but to separate ourselves from the last few years. Remember, like last year, we had that in the middle of the season. We kind of had that losing skid. The year before, we couldn't really separate. In 2022, we couldn't separate. So this is a really good chance on Monday Night Football against the Texans to really put our foot down and really separate ourselves from not only the division if the other teams lose, but also from ourselves from the past couple of years. So, yeah, and looking at the overall rankings, we are first overall. We are fourth overall in defense or offense, fourth overall in defense, second in special teams, first in passing offense. This isn't a surprise, but we are 21st in rushing offense. We are ninth in passing defense, and we are second in the league DVOA wise in rushing defense. So and that overall translates to a number one overall ranked DVOA team. And then looking at Sam, and this is also due to Sam Darnold, man. This dude is first in so many categories. He's first in EPA per play. He's first in PFF grade. He's first in EPA plus CPOE. He's first in turnover-worthy play rate. First in big-time throw rate. First in ADOT, whatever that means. First in yards per attempt. First in explosive pass rate. Second in success rate. Third in passer rating. Third in QBR. This dude is legitimately playing like an MVP right now, like I said. And we will really see this against Houston on Monday next week because they have a good defense. But overall, not only is this offense playing well, this defense is playing lights out, especially on the ground. The passing game entered top 10 even after that Bucs game, much better. So much better against the Jags. So that is really, really good to see. And I'm extremely happy to see that this team is looking well. And then another thing I want to point out is, if you look at the snap counts here, you'll notice a name that I've kept an eye on, but didn't really think would make an impact. Drake Thomas, man, this dude played 92% of the snaps yesterday, or on Sunday. And do you know who he replaced? Tyrese Knight. Tyrese Knight only played in 3% of the snaps, defensive snaps. So that was 2 out of 76 potential snaps. That's not looking good for Knight. Looking better for Drake Thomas, not looking good for Knight, who led the FBS in tackles the year we drafted him. Excuse me. But looking at the bright side, I do want to give a shout out to Nick Emamori, who I saw another X post that he is the highest rated safety in the league so far. Albeit he's only played really one full game because he's been injured, maybe 2 full games. But he's been playing great so far, and I feel like he is. Mike's Kyle Hamilton. As long as he stays healthy, of course. He had that high ankle sprain. Hopefully he can stay healthy. And then obviously we had Ty Okada and Bryant playing 100% of the snaps because we have Love and we got Woolen and then Job as well. And Griffin. We got Love, Woolen, and Witherspoon all out, and we somehow held these guys to 12 points. So really, really great to see overall from this defense, and hopefully, we'll get couple of these guys back for Monday night because we will need them against Nico Collins and company. So, but overall, throughout the first 6 weeks of this season, we were looking really, really good, and we were looking like a playoff team so far. We got to keep it up. Mike's, done a really good job of adjusting and really bouncing back after facing adversity. Like I said, there are 2 games where if one or two plays went a different way, we would have won that game. We could be 6-0. But good teams, they lose in close games. That's how it works. We have not lost in a blowout this year so far. I don't believe. Knock on wood. I believe all the games that we have lost. Both of the games we lost were close. So that's really encouraging to see, and I want to continue to see that more from this team. So, but yeah, we're in a really good spot, and so far we're looking like a playoff team. So, but yeah, I think that's all I have for this video. I will be making a preview video this week, either Thursday or Friday. I will promise you that. I will have enough time to do that. But yeah, if you like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share for more Seahawks and Seattle sports content. Thank you for stopping by. Have a good day, and go Hawks, go Mariners, and go Kraken.